Hello and welcome to a brand new installment of Nintendo News Report, the first of the new year. Happy 2017. I am your host, Alexander Kalafi, here with you on this fine Wednesday, January 4th night. I'm joined by two of my regulars. Neil had to call in sick at the last moment. I'm joined by one Donald Terrio. Hello, Donald Terrio.
Persona 5, Mass Effect Andromeda, Red Dead Redemption 2. Name 3 things that will not be announced next week for the Switch.
Wasn't that pretty surprising, though, that Mass Effect is actually supposed to be coming out on March 21st? Because it still feels like we've seen almost none of that game.
Well, they're showing it off right now at CES, but I have the feeling this is going to be one of those games that will come out in March, and we will wish it came out at the 10th anniversary in November.
Didn't they also say it's not coming to the Xbox One?
No, it's PS4, Xbox One, PC.
About Persona 5.
Oh,
Persona
okay.
5 is only coming to PlayStation 4, PlayStation 3, and Yakuza 0 only coming to PlayStation 4, which also comes out this month, which I'm very excited about. Other voice you are hearing and person you are seeing is one Zachary Miller. Hello, Zachary Miller from Alaska.
Hello, hello. It's very cold here.
Yes, it is. It's a new year. And as a result, there is almost no news, which means we're going to speed through what little news we actually do have, and then we're going to talk about the Switch for like 25 to 30 extra minutes, if that's okay with you guys.
Maybe go over our plans for next week as much as we can.
Yeah, I think there's still some stuff we're keeping, like cards not shown right now, like for instance, who's gonna be where, doing what. I don't know if we're talking about any of that.
The only thing we can say is that Neil will be about 3 time zones away from home.
Yeah. Here's what we can say about next week. We are already all hands on deck. We had a staff meeting devoted to covering these 2-3 days. We all have a role. We're all gonna do stuff. Nintendo News Report will be there next week, albeit with maybe a slightly different crew. And it is all going to be popping, as hopefully the Nintendo Switch is. But before we talk about the Nintendo Switch, let's talk about the lesser news stories. First, that Rime is coming to the Nintendo Switch in addition to the PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and personal computer. This game looks slightly worse than the last time they showed it a couple years ago, and I don't know if you guys noticed that.
Maybe they were running maybe they were showing the Switch version on a tablet, so it's 720p instead of 1080.
Yeah, that's a smart idea. Do we know if it is Donald? Do we know if Rime is what's it called? Dated? I think it's only next year. Or this year.
They sent some press information out today.
May.
They're aiming for May on that right now. They also said there's going to be a physical release for the PS4 and Xbox One versions. We did ask about a physical Switch game. They had no comment.
Yeah, this game looks weird. I'm very curious.
It sort of looks like
sort
of looks like Wind Waker meets Eco.
Yes, it does. Good comparison.
Which is curious to me because neither Eco nor Wind Waker were built on the scale or budget for an independent game that's presumably going to be selling for $20-$30. Which makes me curious about what the flow of this game is, what the structure is going to be, how big the island is, if it's going to turn out that there's a story but there's also all this procedural generation. If it's going to turn out that it's like The Witness and turns out it really is that big of a video game, but also it's $40. The way they present this game makes it seem like a pretty big game, which is cool, only the fact that it's an independent game, and it's kind of an independent game that wasn't blown out in the same way The Witness and No Man's Sky wasn't given its own PR cycle. I'm very curious to just what this game looks like when it finally comes out.
Yeah, because I mean, we first heard about. I think this game debuted in, I want to say, at Gamescom in 2013, so before the PS4 came out.
Yes,
Wow.
at the time, it might have been slated as just a PS4 game.
Right, and Sony, I think, was involved in the publishing of it, in a similar fashion to what they did with No Man's Sky. But we didn't hear a bloody thing about this game for about a year, or for about 2 years even, starting last summer. So,
Right.
so that game, either they've just been head down working on it, and it's coming. And Sony, maybe No Man's Sky got Sony skittish, and they're like, okay, you guys can go multi-platform with this, and so the opportunity presented itself to go with Switch, PS4, or Xbox One, PC. But it's going to be it's filling in some of the puzzle pieces as to what is going to be the sort of post-launch things for the Switch, and the fact that it's a multi-platform game that does show that these late Unreal Engine games can work on the Switch pretty well. But how it's going to actually perform as a game, we'll have to wait and see on that.
Is it not amazing that in 1 week, 1 day, and 45 minutes, we are gonna know everything about the Switch? Right?
Hopefully.
Hopefully. Or at least we're gonna know way more than what we have now, including a better picture of what March looks like, of what May looks like, of what summer looks like, and maybe 1 or 2 games of what fall looks like.
I just know that based on all the birthday and Christmas money that I asked for and received this year, unless they price it ridiculously, I'm set to get one in a game, at least one game.
At what age does it stop making sense to receive Christmas money? Donald, before you go ahead, let's talk about the important stuff. I say this as a 22-year-old who got some Christmas money this year, but I'm also curious, like, at age 50, it definitely won't make sense to keep getting Christmas money. At age 30, it barely makes sense to keep getting Christmas money. And
I'm 32, and I asked for the main things I asked for Christmas this year, besides the PS4 I ended up getting, were gift cards.
Really?
So that's effectively
it's kind of the same thing.
Yeah. I think gift cards could stretch a little while longer. I don't know. What do we think the cutoff is? Like 35, 40 for receiving like actual cash in a card as a gift?
When you have kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I bet it is.
Start getting that.
Children. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Donald, what were you saying a second ago?
I'm just saying, Zach, I think you're probably looking at I think the rumors seem to be calcifying around launch Wii pricing, so $250. So I think you're covered there.
Okay.
As long as Fred Meyer hasn't ditched the electronics section in your
God, that scared me, man. That's where I get my shit.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, I got to go to EB Games on Friday or next Friday, but hopefully you don't have to.
Yeah.
You stop in this case.
Right. We should also talk about the fact that Poktémon Snap is now coming to the North American Wii U Virtual Console tomorrow.
The best Pokemon spin-off game.
I thought you were going to say the best Pokemon game, and I'm like, Zach, you know those are fighting words. And
no.
If you actually said that, like that would be a wildly incorrect statement, because I think what would happen is you would play Pokemon Snap and you're like, oh wait, I'm actually kind of bored way faster than I thought I would be.
Oh wait, I'm rolling the credits. I've only been playing this for an hour.
Yeah.
How quickly could you comfortably get to like Mew in Pokemon Snap? Could you really get through Mew in about 90 minutes?
I did when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And that was the first time I played it.
Damn.
I think my brother did it in about half that time.
Oh my gosh.
And from the chat, Daniel asks, can someone tell me, or Danielle, it's spelled like Daniel, but it could be Danielle. I'm going to say Daniel. Can someone tell me what a Rime is? Rime is an independent video game. You can read all about it on NintendoWorldReport.com. It is an independent video game that looks like the Wind Waker and also Eco, and it has a nice art style. So there you go.
We don't really know much about what it actually is.
Yeah. Jesse says, Pokemon Snap is good, but would be better in HD. Yeah,
Yeah, of course.
maybe
Most N64 games would look better in HD.
maybe they ran the numbers and were like, the idea of a Pokemon Snap sequel on Wii U right now is just a ridiculous premise, and we don't
Yeah, no,
actually
they would have
need
done
that.
it by now if they were going to do it.
The question I have is whether the Switch is going to have gyro, which I'm guessing it is.
Absolutely, sure. Yes.
It should.
Yeah.
That should be the case, right?
I mean, if it's like most tablets that you can use in portrait or landscape mode, it has to have an accelerometer in there, so you might as well use it for some light motion control if it comes to it.
No,
Yeah.
but I'm saying that if the idea of a Pokemon Snap is let's do the Star Fox thing, put you in cockpit mode, do this all the time, except you don't have to worry about the control scheme, which was the falling out on Star Fox's part. So you just have to worry about buttons and then moving the controller.
I don't know if they'll do that because they're obviously trying to get away from a two-screen setup, and they've said before that none of the games are going to act like that.
I think they're trying to get away from every ecosystem they've had thus far.
Yeah.
They're ditching the two-screen. They're ditching the Wii. They're ditching the DS and the 3DS and the 3D. This is a whole new thing. So maybe you're right. Maybe it will be a more conventional video game, and maybe Star Fox was a lesson that maybe that's not the kind of game people want to play.
Well, that
and people.
And either way, if you're taking a picture with a tablet, you still look kind of weird.
Yeah.
Remember that video?
If anything, it's going to be something like a Pokemon Go game where you find Pokemon in the environment with your tablet controller.
Right.
But that would be stupid because they would look awful.
There was just a video I was just thinking of because we were talking about the Wii U and we're going to be transitioning into Switch. Pokemon Snap is a fine game. You can get it on the Virtual Console tomorrow. Let's talk about some Switch stuff. I was thinking back to that Wii U Direct from 2012 when there was that video and it showed the video chat feature where some 20-year-old kid called like a 70-year-old man.
I remember that.
Called his
and that
grandfather.
never really happened. Was he really his grandfather, or was he just some player?
I think it was just an old dude playing the game. Now that I think about it, but I'm one of the few people that actually bothered to use Wii U video chat, and we largely used it to get around the issues with Monster Hunter's voice chat.
That's good.
What's the bigger 8th gen Nintendo feature that they didn't end up fully implementing? Is it TV as they showed it off? Is it the Wii U video chat being able to call any other Nintendo player and see their face over video? Or is it the idea of being able to pay for 3D movies on your 3DS?
Oh my God, I forgot about that.
Except
I will never forget about that. They did that in Japan a little bit, but not as much as they were showing off, yeah?
Because they're putting out movies in like on the European eShop. Like you can get the Professor Layton movie, except I don't think they ever adapted it to 3D.
Yeah, but they said 3D movies, like they were showing off. You can How to Train Your Dragon in 3DS, and they never did that. That's something everyone else forgets, and they're like, "Why wouldn't you just forget about that, Alex?" And I say, you know what? I can't forget about it because they made a promise to me that they.
I do remember watching a couple 3D movie trailers on the 3DS way back when, like the Green Lantern movie.
Yeah. Do you remember how cool the 3D was when the 3DS came out before we all took it for granted? And when they would release 3D game trailers on the eShop, and then you would just watch them for like an hour and a half by the time the game comes out? Like the Animal Crossing New Leaf trailer when it was just Animal Crossing. I think there was a Paper Mario one. I think there was, especially that Super Mario 3D Land.
Star Fox one.
The Star Fox one. There might have been a Donkey Kong one.
I think there was a Metal Gear one too.
There was a Metal Gear one. On the Mario one, I think I had like an hour and a half time just watching that trailer over and over again, and and then sometimes I would move the control stick because I would pretend I was actually playing the game. Those were some times. Those were some times. Anyone, Chariot Goblin asks, anyone remember the unused external accessory port on the Wii U gamepad?
I think every Nintendo system has at least one external port that's never used.
Yeah. Like I know the NES and Super Nintendo had one, so that's just Nintendo being Nintendo.
GameCube, I think, had one too.
Better to have it not need it than not have it and need it.
Yeah, although I think the GameCube one got covered up by the main reason to use that, the Game Boy player.
Yeah.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Yep. Okay, let's talk about.
And I'm getting fired again.
Let's talk about the Switch stuff. Donald, tell me about the FCC filings.
Okay, so any device that transmits over wireless spectrum in the United States has to go through the FCC for testing to make sure that it's not going to kill you with excessive amounts of radiation. And the FCC, as they do, they publish these documents on their website. So just around Christmas time, the FCC actually published some documentation about the Nintendo Switch showing that it's going to do modern Wi-Fi 802.11ac and also at least Bluetooth 4.0.
Oh.
So including low energy Bluetooth, which is used now in a lot of cell phones for beacons and things of that nature. And also confirm that the battery on the Switch tablet will not be user replaceable. So hope you have your Pokemon Go battery packs ready. But it will use an international plug like the Wii U does. But some people are seeing that as a move to the Switch not being region locked.
That would be cool. I'm not surprised at the battery thing because, I mean, it's not like you can change the battery in the DS or the 3DS or the Wii U gamepad or...
You can. I mean, Nintendo sells extended batteries for the 3DS and the Wii U gamepad already on their website.
Oh, I just mean the internal battery is not replaceable by you. You can. Oh, or is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, you can order another battery or even a higher capacity one, and they'll send you the instructions.
Oh, I didn't know that.
RK reminds us. Remember, the Wii Zapper was going to be able to be attached to the gamepad.
Oh shit! He's right. Holy shit!
Remember the Wii U introductory trailer when they showed the idea of playing Wii Fit U comfortably without even needing the TV and being able to weigh yourself as easily as if it's an actual scale? Remember when they did the video chat with that guy and that girl and that dog, and you had no idea what the fuck they were talking about because, like, it sounded like they were speaking a different language?
My favorite component of that reveal trailer is the guy putting the gamepad on the ground and golfing as if it was a sand trap. I thought They
actually did that, I think, didn't they?
Yeah, they did that with Wii Sports Resort, the golf game, and that you could see the lie of the ball with the gamepad.
Oh, you mean Wii Sports Club?
Or Wii Sports Club, yeah. Sorry.
I never played that. Yeah, interesting.
Yeah. Although I think my favorite thing that got shown off in a Wii reveal trailer but never went anywhere was the non-specific action figure.
Yes!
I thought that was going to be a new game, like when someone wears the Crash Bandicoot shirt.
Or have them in... I thought it was going to be like even a trophy in Smash Brothers. I figured Sakurai would be that crazy enough to put him in there, but
yeah,
didn't end up happening.
Oh boy. I mean, don't get me wrong, Nintendo's no worse than any other company. Like, this is not me specifically.
Dual HDMI ports on the PS3.
Dual HDMI ports on the PS3. You have the PlayStation 4 promise of being able to press a button and play a game literally the second you press that button. I still remember that from the original trailer. Yeah.
You know, not to interrupt this discussion, but the Wi-Fi news out of the FCC makes me wonder if they're going to keep Nintendo zones around for a Switch application.
That'd be nice.
I don't see why they wouldn't. I mean,
Nintendo zones suck, but I mean, it's interesting that they might keep them around.
Yeah, I think those will stick around because it is a way to get access to the internet on the Switch while you're not necessarily tethering to a phone or whatever.
True.
Yeah. Yeah. Was that all? Was there just speculation that this would be region locked and then
region? I think
Region
the speculation was leaning toward it being region unlocked. So at the very least, physical games from every region will work on the same system. What that means for accessing international eShops, like you can do with different PSN stores or Xbox Live, that hasn't been determined. But I'm pretty sure Nintendo is going to at least lock that part of it down.
Yeah.
Sure.
But where this is a portable system, I would think that I think they'll ditch region locking, at least for cartridges.
That would be fantastic. Let's go back to the chat. We have Chair Goblin asking, does anyone think Sakurai's new game will be revealed at the January 12th presentation? I think
No.
not. I think Retro's game is also not getting revealed.
I agree.
Think this thing is going to be an hour and a half.
Oh, shit.
The first hour. But I have method to my madness. The actual presentation itself will be an hour. Nintendo likes working with 1 hour time slots. I think they're going to devote 20 to 30 minutes on the system, and then the rest of the time on the games. For the games you need to show off. You need to show off Mario. You need to show off Zelda. You need to show off Rabbids. You need to show off Splatoon. You need to show off trailers for Smash Bros. And for...
Oh, you mean like remasters?
Xenoblade, if those exist, and you're going to close on Pokemon. And I really don't think outside of that, maybe a trailer, we're going to see that much more other than the price, the powers.
They'll show a third-party reel.
Right. And the indie reel, we'll get the indie reel too.
Well, yeah, and where this is Japan, you're probably going to see like the Capcoms and Namco Bandais of the world. And if Square Enix is on board with this thing, then we'll probably get a good segment out of them because, well, we have Dragon Quest XI to show off.
Yeah.
But I think the rumor that came out this week was that the closer, or at least something late in the presentation, what was supposed to be a stunning moment, is that BG&E 2 is real and it's coming to the Switch for a year exclusively.
I'll believe it when it's on store shelves.
I believe it. It's not that unbelievable. Nintendo did the same thing with Devil's Third. They did the same thing with Bayonetta 2. To two widely different results, I might add.
Yeah, one of those worked out pretty
well. In development for 10 years.
I'm pretty sure I just named the best and worst games on the Wii U.
There's an argument for that.
We're going to see the...
Here's kind of a pun. I'd be surprised if Way Forward wasn't bringing some version of Mighty Switch Force to the Switch.
Yeah.
Oh.
We're gonna see the $250, $300. I think it's gonna be $250, $250.
You think they're gonna do 2 SKUs?
One.
Maybe. I think
one with a game and one without.
Yeah.
The question is the game one $250 or is the game one $200? Or is the game one $250 or is the game one $300?
$300. It's that one.
Yeah, I think $250 for a base unit, $300 US with a packed-in game.
I think Splatoon being the pack-in makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, especially in Japan.
In Japan, sure. I don't know if they'll do it here.
Yeah. RK says Laura Kate Dale has been leaking a ton of stuff this week. Zelda's 100% at launch. People are saying Rabbids Kingdom Battle or Rabbids Mushroom Kingdom Battle or something like that is also happening, which sounds like it's like an XCOM style strategy RPG, meaning it could be the Ghost Recon Shadow Wars of the Switch launch.
And Ghost Recon Shadow Wars was the secret best 3DS launch game.
I thought Nintendogs plus Cats was a fine video game. That game was an alright Animal Crossing game without the sense of control.
Yeah, and of course what Alex said about the Rabbids game being sort of an XCOM like that actually leaked out earlier tonight from Liam Robertson,
right?
Reporting that on his Twitter,
right. In the last 30 minutes, I just wanted to say the last 30 minutes will be a Q&A. I think they're going to have an hour for the show, 30 minutes for a Q&A because I think that's expected to happen, and then that'll be it.
Event. Now, who presents this thing then? Because you would think it'd be Kimishima, but he doesn't seem. in Japan, I think the best you might get with that is Reggie or Bill doing translation for the West.
Yeah.
I think we're
Yeah.
gonna have Kamishima.
You think
on
Kamishima is
stage.
at least going to be on? I could see it that Kamishima is on stage for the introduction and like some of the basics of it, but then they leave it to the developers to
If
talk
I
about
was
their.
to make, if
Yeah.
I was to make a bingo card, well, I mean, Reggie doesn't show up on stage as much as you think he does. He just shows up at the right intervals, so you think
Yeah.
he's on stage for a lot longer
And-
than he is. And then also when developers come on stage, sometimes he stands next to them.
Yeah, except the only reason I don't think we see any of Reggie next week is because again it's in Japan, so
Yeah.
I don't know how good Reggie's Japanese is, but I don't think they would want to. I don't know if they'd want to take the chance of having somebody who's maybe not as fluent in Japanese doing a Japanese presentation.
So-
we could see Shibata from Europe actually do part of it as well, because he is clearly fluent in Japanese. It's his
So
first
I have a
language.
question about this. I must have missed the memo. I thought this was going to be like a pre-recorded, pre-produced Nintendo Direct.
No, it's going to be like Sony's pre-TGS things.
Oh wow, like a stage
like-
show.
Yeah, sort
Wow.
of stage show crossed with a press conference at the end.
Yeah.
Huh. You know what?
Yeah.
You know what I
So-
realized today? If Donald, if you come with us to PAX East, we'll be able to play the Switch at the first North American show it's at.
Well, it's going to be at PAX South, which is in a couple
Oh,
of weeks.
screw South.
Yeah, and it's also going, and I think it'll be in South by Southwest the week after PAX East. But yeah, the first we'll get one of the first shots at playing it, which hey, that'd be really cool.
For 1 hour before the show starts, and then never
get the hell out of Dodge.
That is pretty exciting. Me
Yeah.
and Zach and Donald and Neil all all in the same
Maybe
place.
Jared.
Nintendo News Report. Yeah.
Maybe we get a God forbid, maybe we get a panel.
Yeah, that's the thing. We applied for 2 panels. I think Donald
Somebody
and I,
has to buy lottery tickets.
if we get the right panel, Donald and I and Zach and Neil will all be together. If we get one of the panels, I think it'll just be Neil. We'll see. But either
What
way,
are the 2 panels? I know one's Nintendoware, but what's the other one?
The other
The
one,
Wii U
I
life
don't know.
cycle talk.
Yeah.
The Wii Eulogy.
The Wii Eulogy, which I wasn't sure if we were
Which
talking about until it actually exists. But yes, we did apply for a panel at PAX East called Wii Eulogy, where we talk about the life and death of the Wii U in a professional, loving yet critical manner.
I was about ready to learn how to play taps for that if we got it.
I was looking into how much to rent a suit.
Actually, that's not a bad idea.
The Sean McCord says the Wii U funeral, or I might say the Wii Uneral.
Oh, Jesus.
We'll grab a busted one from somewhere and we'll give it a Viking funeral. We'll shove it out of the center on the boat.
I think every Wii U is a busted Wii U. Oh man. Okay.
Somebody has to learn how to play bagpipes, obviously.
I think we see a little virtual console stuff though. I think the GameCube stuff, if it exists.
Oh, GameCube, yes.
If the GameCube stuff exists, I think we see it on stage. Because if it's launching with GameCube, you gotta show it off, even for just a minute at that event.
Yes.
As long as they have VC on the system from day one and don't do the stupid 6-month delay like they did with the, except for those like 30-cent games with the full VC service like they did on the Wii U.
Right.
And another rumor that came out this week is there was that old whipping boy from last year, Mother 3. Potentially by the end of June, probably the E3 reveal.
You poor bastards.
Yeah.
You keep getting your hopes up.
But at the same time, if you're desperate to play Mother 3 and you don't care how you play Mother 3, but as long as you can play it in English and you have a viable system of choice.
I've come to realize that Mother 3 is a certain gamer's Beyond Good and Evil 2. They know it exists.
It actually was made.
Yeah,
they know it exists, but
it was released.
Will it ever come out?
Yeah.
It'll
Yeah,
never
that's
come
true.
out. The localization is sitting in a vault somewhere. It's like it won't get released until Reggie leaves the company or whatever.
The thing is, that fan translation is actually excellent.
But just a heads up, if this does happen, the leader of the fan translation project said it's going to go down from the website. So I believe the term I saw in one forum was "smoke 'em if you got 'em." Now, granted, this is the internet; nothing disappears forever. But that fan
Right.
translation is probably it'll be a bit harder to find if it does come out legitimately, because they want you to play the game legitimately and give Nintendo money for it. Which, hey, that's cool.
Yeah. I have a question for you guys about the Switch.
Yeah.
How do you think it will handle expandable memory? Because it's
What?
launching with 32 gigs, which is, I mean, look at a PS4. That's not going to cut it.
Rumors SD cards.
My
through
yeah,
128
Normal SD cards or micro
Yeah,
SD
I
cards?
think is it micro?
micro.
Or, oh, it's micro. Through
Now, here's the
128 gigs.
okay. Do you think? I think that they might have let you have two micro SD cards in one system, and you can swap, between them like GameCube memory cards. Because even 128 gigs is not a ton.
No, it's not enough, and I don't like the idea of.
Or you wouldn't swap them out. You just tell the system which card to read from.
Or it's intelligent enough to read from whatever.
Yeah,
whatever it is. You
like
can
your
plug two
Wii U
hard
in the
drives.
memory. Yeah.
I bet they're
You-
going to do the Wii U thing and let you add your own external hard drive. The only thing is, that's not a great option either, and I
You
kind
can't
of
take
hate
that with
external.
you.
Yeah, like you'd have to
Yes,
basically. It'd be kind of hard to do a portable system when you have to basically sit there for however long, waiting for, I don't know, 50 gigs of data to transfer to your system memory or SD cards from that hard drive.
external hard drives also suck because unlike a hard drive, a good hard drive that you just sort of screw drive into your system like you would do with the PlayStation 4, even if there was some hassle there, an external hard drive, even if you take care of it, will probably go bust within 5 to 7 years. And there is nothing worse than having a hard drive and not knowing when it's going to crap out on you. Like one of those WD passports, like I think mine lasted 3 years. And then it was
That's
I
it.
Yeah, because I only put a hard drive on my Wii U in 2014. That was about a year after I got it. It's now my 360's hard drive.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Oh, you can swap formats. I thought once you put it on Wii U, it locked it.
I just had to once I cleaned off that hard drive, I just had to reformat it
Oh, sweet.
to a format the 360 could recognize, and off and running.
Sean McCord says it is Nintendo's The Last Guardian. Now, I would argue that Nintendo's The Last Guardian is actually The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, because it looks similar. It has a slightly similar aesthetic. It's a game that switched platforms, even though it's coming out on both. And the rumors are that the game does not technically run that great.
Okay, but here's the thing about Zelda. The guys, Aonuma and those other guys, have played other video games in the 10 years that game's been out, so they have caught up with trends, whereas Last Guardian has not learned anything since Ico.
The Last
Ouch.
Guardian is
Boom.
charming as hell, though. I was playing it for a couple hours today. I got it for Christmas, so I spent a couple hours with it. Yes,
Yeah, no,
the
I'm
video
sure it's
game itself,
charming.
when you take Trico out of it, what you're left with is literally Eco with a big dog. It's Eco with a big dog,
Yes.
and that's it. And it feels like a PlayStation 2 3D puzzle platformer, which is basically a giant indie game on a larger scale, is what that game plays like. It still has some textures that look a tiny bit like a PlayStation 3 game. The camera is kind of like a PlayStation 2 game, but what it has going for it is Trico. Trico is a hella charming character. And I would say it is the most realistic, charming depiction of a big dog I've ever seen.
I fully intend to buy it on a flash sale when it's like $10 someday.
In the same way you have like a dog and you start baby talking a little bit, I did notice myself doing that a little bit, like shrieking, like, "Oh, who's a good boy? Who's a good boy?" And because like there's a pet button.
Hey,
So I was having
speaking
some fun
of,
with that,
check
yeah.
this shirt out.
Oh, let me see. Is it a
Aww.
Last Guardian shirt? Oh,
Yeah.
is that your corgi or just a corgi?
It's a corgi who looks like my dead corgi.
Oh. Did you get that from a store or did you print it yourself?
Somebody bought it for me for Christmas.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Something I realized, getting back to the storage thing for a moment here. I really hope that Nintendo's the porting tools that NVIDIA is working on for this thing for PS4 games work by compressing the assets down and letting the system upscale it, and maybe doing something with the audio, because the PS4, I did the grand hard drive ectomy and downloaded all my PS Plus games, and the PS4 games were on average about 50 to 100 to twice the 50% bigger to twice as big as the same games on the PS3, which I'm wondering if that means that we're talking about 1080p assets and uncompressed audio, where they could easily use a lossless format that's smaller, or like 320 MP3, and nobody should know the difference.
No.
Because that's the only way stuff like Doom is going to run on this thing without investing heavily into micro SD cards.
So the worry would be that when you get the bundle that comes with Breath of the Wild, that's the only game you can play on it right now.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's not like we can assume that they're not going to run save files, especially since they're going to be on card. We know they're on cards.
Oh, true.
Which hopefully have some room for, maybe there's a writable portion for patches and DLC.
Oh, and maybe there's not a mandatory install like off the cart. Oh, that would be so nice.
Yeah, because I mean, Doom
with the PlayStation.
Yeah, like Doom on PS4, I got it on Friday. It had a 29 gig update, which was a roll up of every update that's had since then, and then a 46 gig install. That's how that thing is 75 gigs on my PS4.
And the thing is, only one side of that game is one of the best games of the year.
The other side is completely useless.
Yeah. The Doom gameplay, though, Donald, you've been playing a tiny bit. Is it not some of the funnest first-person shooting gameplay?
Glory killing has not gotten old yet.
It doesn't. That's the secret. It does not.
Hell, that's all I do. I don't shoot very much anymore. I just melee things to death.
I need to play that.
Yeah.
Oh, Cherry Goblin asks, has Alex played Xenoblade Chronicles X yet? No, I still have it sealed.
Same here.
Going to play it soonish, I think, because I was playing the Nier Automata demo today, and there is a mech section in that, which really gave me a craving for a good mech game. And I do have Xenoblade Chronicles X, and since I just beat Shin Megami Tensei 4 Apocalypse, I'm kind of in that RPG kick right now. So there's a world when I play Xenoblade Chronicles X in the next couple months, even if it gets announced for the Switch, unless it looks that much better or has more content, I'm probably just going to play it on Wii U. Yeah.
If there's one thing Xenoblade Chronicles X has, it's plenty of content.
Sean says, I want Star Fox Assault, Smash Melee, Double Dash, Super Monkey Ball, Beautiful Joe, Mario Sunshine, Animal Crossing, Star Fox Adventure. Yes, I would add Killer 7 to that list. I would add Super Mario Strikers to that list. I would add
I would back a dump truck full of money up to Sega's headquarters and get Skies of Arcadia and Cubivore.
Do Skies of Arcadia. Do
F-Zero GX, if you didn't say that already.
F-Zero GX. Mario Superstar Baseball is low-key one of the best Mario sports games. And the Wii game did not do it justice, I've heard, although I have not played it. So
let's get the Nintendo version of Soul Calibur 2 on there.
Ooh, sure, Namco. That's a good idea. And Animal Crossing.
I'm sure Namco will be for that.
He said Animal Crossing, but also Animal Crossing, because that's the one with the NES games. That's the one with the most charm in it. That's the one where they had everything together. That's a fine game. I'm very curious what other GameCube games we actually need on that. Oh, you need Pokemon Coliseum and XD. There you go.
No, you don't.
Nope. Bot and Kaidos Origins.
There you go.
Kaitos. Chibi Robo 1. There you go.
Could be
Because
interesting.
I bought Chibi Robo on the 3DS game on Amazon for like $8 without the amiibo, which I think you could probably still get at that price.
Probably.
And it's not a great game at all. It's kind of it's like Kirby without the Kirby.
Oh, see, I think of it as a very slow-moving Yoshi's Island.
But it doesn't even control as well as Yoshi's Island
No,
because
it
Yoshi's
doesn't.
Island.
No.
The most frustrating thing about Chibi Robo, what's its subtitle?
Ziplash.
Ziplash. The most frustrating thing about Chibi Robo Ziplash is the fact that you can throw your Ziplash here, 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 but you can't do it upright unless it's the super long Ziplash.
That's true.
And that does not stop being frustrating. The roulette option, at the end of the levels, that does suck, but there's ways to get around it pretty easily.
Yeah, there is. Yeah,
You just
it's
do
still
one level
like
at a time, but it's still a pain
it's
in
still
the
like
ass.
the fact that you can get around it makes me wonder why they even do it.
Did the creators of Chibi Robo, did all the talented ones just leave after the DS games?
I think it's had the same producer for the whole time, and he said that if Ziplash doesn't sell, they're probably not making any more.
But they didn't make a real Chibi Robo game since the first Chibi Robo game.
You can tell they made this one on the cheap.
But hasn't then that pretty much been their MO for the last year and a half, aside from
Probably true.
Metal Blade and Mario Makers?
They made that AR game, didn't they?
Yeah. Beautiful Joe. Any other GameCube games that really need to be on there?
One that never will be,
Fire
but
Emblem.
and Paper Mario 1,000 Year Door, just so everyone will shut up about it.
I think
Rogue
it
Squadron,
will be
that's
on
never been
there.
Rogue Squadron would be nice. It's never been on any other platform.
I wonder how much hell that game is in right now. Like rights hell.
Yeah, I'm sure.
We got Super Star Wars on the Wii, so anything's possible.
Factor 5's not a factor anymore, though, right? They're gone.
It's just that the Star Wars rights are with EA right now, and with Disney owning LucasArts.
Oh, right.
I believe Nintendo still owns the video game Eternal Darkness, and they keep re-upping that trademark.
They keep re-upping the trademark just to piss Dennis Dyack off, so good job.
Kirby Air Ride. I'm actually looking at a list.
Oh, yes.
3DS.
Yes.
They're the best.
Pikmin 1 and 2.
Pikmin 1
I
and
know
2.
they have
Pikmin 2. How about Pikmin 2?
Luigi's
Pikmin 2
Mansion.
multiplayer. Secretly a good multiplayer game.
Mario Power Tennis.
That's true.
Mega Man Anniversary Collection with the
No,
wrong button layout.
Nope. Maybe the X collection.
Mega Man X Collection. Yeah.
Which is good for about 2/3, and then the last third is.
Yeah. I like those like tiny arcade fighting games. Those are actually kind of cool.
Yeah, but the only problem with that Mega Man Anniversary Collection, well, aside from the reverse controls, Mega Man 8's on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is
We've
Mega
got to
Man
say-
8 that bad? I own a copy of it on PlayStation 3.
No, it's bad.
Should I only play Mega Man 1 through 6 and also Mega Man X1 and then just stop my Mega Man experience there?
9 and 10 are good
Yeah, but
on WiiWare.
yeah.
You might have those for free even on PSN.
I do have them for free on PSN.
True.
I just don't know if I want to play them because I just
X2 is
GG
good.
Inafune.
X2 is good, but it's not. I mean, it's nowhere near 1, and 3 is even farther downhill.
Tales of Symphonia, Metroid Prime, Tony Hawk's Underground, and American Wasteland, which those will not come out unless the Switch is an enormous success. You got Beautiful
And-
I don't think Neversoft doesn't have the license anymore anyway.
Yeah, because wasn't that the whole reason why Tony Hawk 5 was a complete shit show? Is because
Right.
Activision had to beat a contract.
Yep.
Yeah. We got WarioWare, and you have Wario World.
Wario World's not good.
Is it that bad? Or
It's just
is it
not
that
good.
Not good. Yeah.
When you compare it to Wario Land games, it's not good.
Okay. You also have the original Wind Waker and Twilight Princess, which will be helpful if it's not backwards compatible to the Wii U, which I would not be surprised if they did that.
They've already established they're making a clean break on all fronts, so yeah, you're not going to get backwards compatibility. Maybe they port those HD remakes over in a collection or something in a couple of years.
That'd be nice.
Yeah,
but I don't think we're going to see. I don't think we're going to see that. They may just stick the originals on VC for worse and call it a day.
Sure. Those are all the GameCube games because I'm on V's recommended games right now.
Melee?
The GameCube list. Melee's we already. Yeah. I really want to play that Fire Emblem game though. You also got the original Beyond Good and Evil, which would be a good thing to launch the Virtual Console with.
Yeah,
I could see them selling the HD version of that actually. Just been down to $2 before, so it's not like they're not willing to let it go cheap.
I bought it twice, one on 360 and once on PSN for very cheap both times.
You know what would be crazy? Would be a Dreamcast Virtual Console.
That would be amazing.
On the Switch. Which doesn't feel impossible.
No,
It'd be hard to do House of the Dead with it.
Yeah, but Capcom's Fighters alone would make that worth it.
Yep.
Yeah. You got Shenmue. You could put that on Virtual Console, although I hear the endurance run Giant Bomb did on Shenmue basically revealed that Shenmue
is not a good video game.
Yeah, it's not good.
Aged as at the bare minimum has not aged as much as everyone hopes it did, or did not age as well as everyone hopes it did. Now, if you want to play a good video game series that engrosses you in the life of a Japanese person, lets you beat the shit out of people, and has the QuickTime events, Yakuza 0 comes out on PlayStation 4 later this month. And oh boy, am I excited. Boy, oh boy.
Yeah, but I mean, for Dreamcast, you get Capcom's Fighters. I don't know if the Offspring are willing to let their musical rights go for $10, but Crazy Taxi.
They certainly didn't let it go on 360.
Yeah, I think they got it back for the iOS version of all things.
Really?
Yep. You could do the original Sonic Adventure, which I still think is the best 3D Sonic game to date.
Dreamcast had a lot of good horror games.
Resident Evil Code Veronica, run that back.
Carrier, which is a Resident Evil clone, but it's good.
You get the original Skies of Arcadia. This is really reaching, but if Dreamcast VC theoretically brought Fire Pro Wrestling D over, I would probably die of happiness. I lost about 2 years of my life to that game, and I didn't even end up buying it.
Wow.
You know, it could be a potentially cool or sad Virtual Console thing is Resident Evil 4. If they put the original GameCube version, I would totally get.
I probably would too. Not at $20.
They got to get it on there somehow, because I mean, it's been on every system since it launched.
Yeah. All right. Instead of talking about like games we'd like to see on the Virtual Console for this thing, do we have any other Switch information?
There was supposed to be some Breath of the Wild stuff in this month's Game & Summer, which I believe is out now digitally, but it's nothing we don't already know.
Oh.
Here's a question. Here's the last question I'll ask before we close this, because we've actually gone for about 50 minutes, I think. Well,
we have
40, 45. Let's see what my Audacity says. It's
49.
49 minutes. That's about a show. Here's my last question, and I'm just going to pose this as a round table. Zach, what are you most excited about for the Switch reveal next week?
Launch titles.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What do you think they're going to
And not even necessarily Zelda. I just want to know the breadth of games they'll have.
What launch titles do you think they're going to have?
If the Zelda rumor's true, then Zelda, but it would be really nice if they had the real Mario game.
The real Mario game.
Yeah.
The Mexican Mario game that they showed off a few months back.
I'd be okay with them ditching Rabbids in the Mushroom Kingdom.
The
I know that's what's getting Ubisoft through the door, but come on, people.
I think the rumor is that game has been done for a while. It's just waiting to come out for marketing reasons.
Weird thing I just realized. Ubisoft is the publisher of both Rabbids Mario Mushroom Kingdom strategy RPG and Ghost Recon Shadow Wars.
There you go.
Two strategy RPGs. So
I guess I'll say I'm looking forward mostly to being disappointed that Beyond Good and Evil 2 is not announced.
You're looking forward to everyone else being disappointed by that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Donald, how about you?
I'm looking forward to actually having things that I can concretely write about because this rumor thing for the last year and a half is kind of getting old at this point. But as far as things coming on the Switch, I'm excited to see what we see from like Japanese third parties. Like we've already established Persona 5 is not coming, but what does Sega and Atlas have? What does Square Enix have? What does Capcom, Namco Bandai, CyberConnect 2, God forbid? What do they have for this thing? Because this is designed to be I get the feeling this thing is designed especially for Japanese third parties that want to do something in HD, but you cannot sell an Xbox One game in Japan, and a PS4 isn't selling enough there to make it worthwhile.
Right.
So now, if they have two alternatives, we might start to see a lot more games coming out of Japanese third parties. And like in one prominent internet message board did their top 10 most anticipated games of 2017, and 7 of them are from Japan.
Damn.
Yeah. I think the idea of an SMT launch port would be nice for the Switch. I wonder what they could go to if they were going to put a Shin Megami Tensei game. Like, they could do both Shin Megami Tensei 4 games on one disc. They could do
cartridge
Raidu Kuzunoa versus the Soulless Army, which is
Digital Devil Saga.
The Raidu Kuzunoa games. If you want to see the most fucked up video game cover titles of all time, look up is it Devil Summoner? I think it's Devil Summoner.
Yep.
Look up Shin Megami Tensei Devil Summoner. And the first game is like Shin Megami Tensei Devil Summoner, Raidu Kuzunoa versus the Soulless Army. And you have this weird World War II looking Japanese old man on the front grinning. He looks like the antagonist of the Ip Man movies, or like half of the movies ever released by Japanese or China, where it's an angry looking old Chinese or Japanese man with those like thick circular frames that they all have, that all these like Asian villains have.
Right.
And the second one is like Devil Summoner 2, Raidu Kuzunoa versus King Abaddon.
These sound like kaiju movies.
Which one features Dante from the Devil May Cry series?
I think that's Nocturne. That's
Oh my god, that's real?
Yep.
Jeez.
That's not just that's not something they just stick on bad Photoshop box art, Zach. That actually happened.
Wow.
Yeah. I would say I am most excited. I actually think it's going to be Rabbids.
Oh my god.
You're just really excited to kill Rabbids, aren't you? I must confess, I'm in the same boat.
Yeah, that'd be good.
I'm not gonna play that Rabbids game unless they like tell me that like, oh wait, the creator of XCOM is on it.
Now, obviously, there will be a Rabbid amiibo to go along with it.
It's the best strategy RPG.
Yeah, there's 2 characters now for Smash. You've got the Ice Climbers and a Rabbid. Somewhere Justin
that
Bieber
actually sounds believable. You know what it would be? It would be Ice Climbers and Rayman.
A Rabbid actually does sound believable for Smash.
No kidding.
Yeah, just sub them in for Sandbag.
No, my 2 most anticipated games are Super Mario, because the idea of any Western or Mexican-themed Mario level sounds super cool, and also it looks a little more open world than previous Mario games, so maybe that could be sick. And then also, I want to see what's next for Splatoon. I think Splatoon has a bright future ahead of it, and this could be our first glimpse at it. Because the first Splatoon, they clearly cut that their support a little short or at whatever time they cut it at, because they wanted to work on whatever the future of Splatoon was. And I think the future of Splatoon is going to be this. I think it's going to be more clothing. I think it's going to be more maps. I think it's going to be the same story mode, but maybe they might find a way to add a level or some extra content on it, or find a way to work it in. I bet there's going to be one new mode, there's going to be new weapons, and
so
playable.
Wait a second. Are you talking about, is it going to be like Splatoon 1.5 or Splatoon 2?
I think it's going to be 1.5.
Okay.
Splatoon
I think it's going to be more.
There you go.
Splatoon. I think it's too soon for Splatoon 2. I think
Probably is.
Splatoon 1.5 will still have some really assertive changes. I think Mario Kart is going to have some mild changes. I think Smash Bros. People are going to be very disappointed by how little has changed in that game.
At least maybe we'll get those amiibos that were still lacking.
Remember how disappointed people were when it turned out Retro's next game was Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze?
I was among them.
Imagine how disappointing it would be if they're like, all right, we're proud to announce Super Smash Brothers for Switch. We have Ice Climbers. We have these 4 new characters. We added this new 2-hour story mode. And look, it's the creator of Smash Bros. And the director of this game, Mr. Sakurai. And he walks out on stage, and then you get like the most scattered applause.
The sad thing is, I think a lot of the Smash fan base would be happy if they just combined the features of the Wii U and 3DS games into one thing.
I would, honestly. I would.
I think that's what they do. They combine the features of both. They add either no characters or 5 characters. I think it's going to be one of those numbers. I don't think they add 2 or 1 because that seems a little weird.
I think 3 is the number, because then they can do a line of 6 amiibo with the last 3 DLC characters.
There you go.
That's fair.
And one of them will be a Rabid.
Oh. And I will put my face through my desk.
I'd be okay with Rayman joining the fray in Smash Bros. He's a good idea for a character.
Or Jade from Beyond Good and Evil. That'll never happen.
We need to have a talk about Beyond Good and Evil. It's a good game, but it's not really an iconic game.
Okay.
I think some people look at it with the same reverence that they look at Half-Life, and it's just not warranted.
We'll talk about that in 2 weeks once Beyond Good and Evil 2 has not been announced.
No, guys, this needs another 20 minutes. It's 11:07 p.m. Eastern Time, 42 o'clock in the morning, time. Zach's time, it's like 2 in the afternoon.
Yep, sun's shining.
Okay, we do need to go. That is our show for this week. Thank you so much. We are going to be doing a Nintendo World News Report next week. I'm going to be busy doing my own thing. That is not my own thing. It's I can't talk about it, but you will see me out and about. I probably won't be on Nintendo News Report next week. It'll probably be a Donald show, and then some new staffers talking about the Switch. And then we have a shit ton of Switch coverage next week.
Yep.
And then after the Switch coverage next week, we have Game of the Year, probably in late January, early February. I need to beat The Last Guardian, and I also have Forza Horizon 3, and Donald has a lot of games he needs to play as well.
Yeah. I've got a bank of RPGs about this big, plus I actually want to finish Doom if I can.
I want to finish Tomb Raider. Does that count as a 2016 game?
Did you get it on PS4?
Yep.
Yeah, it counts. I'm going to have the Mega Man Legacy Collection somewhere on my top 10, which, by the way, came out on every other platform last year, but it came out on the 3DS eShop in February, so it still counts.
Christ, that seems so long ago now.
Jeez.
Right, but the thing was, I bought that game in like April for $15. That thing tanked in price super fast.
It was always $15 on the eShop. It was $30 at retail.
I got
was it
that.
really?
I got that physical special edition for like $15 at Target a couple months ago. It was pretty awesome.
Actually, no, wait, I got it for 10, but it has 6 Mega Man games and that's lit.
Oh, yeah.
Anyways, that's our show. Donald Mick, DonaldMick. We have NFR Podcast, which is his other show. We have Zachary Miller, Z Miller 1902, ZMILLER 1902. I am Kulafia, that is CULAFIA. That is our show for this week. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.